Good afternoon. We will begin shortly. Thank you. When I'm talking, who do I look at? The camera or the people?
Medyo awkward if yung camera. People na lang.
Kasi live stream. Well, sa live stream. Let's see. Sorry. Ang gulay. Let us all rise for the national anthem, the ecumenical prayer for the courts, and the Supreme Court hymn.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telas ng sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong bangaw, ay hinagang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isla ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na naghihingi, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay di magdidinig. Lumalang araw ng walhagit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya na pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Almighty God, we stand in your holy presence as our supreme judge,
We humbly beseech you to bless and inspire us,
so that what we think, say, and do will be in accordance with your will. Enlighten our minds, strengthen our spirit,
and fill our hearts with fraternal love, wisdom, and understanding, so that we can become effective channels of truth, justice, and peace.
in our proceedings today, guide us in the paths of righteousness,
For the fulfillment of your greater glory. Amen.
Take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of Phase 1 of the Unified Legal Aid Service, or the ULAS Portal, and signing ceremony. I am Camille Sume Elting, Supreme Court spokesperson, and it is my honor to be your host for this afternoon's program. Before we begin, we acknowledge the presence of the Supreme Court Justices, Chief Justice Alexander G. Hesmundo, Senior Associate Justice Marvic M.V.F. Leonen, Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin S. Caguiwa, Chairperson of the ULAS Board, Associate Justice Ramon Paul L. Hernando, Associate Justice Rodil V. Zalameda, Associate Justice Josep Y. Lopez, and Associate Justice Raul B. Villanueva. We also acknowledge our distinguished guests from our partner agencies, Chairperson Richard Palpalatok of the Commission on Human Rights, Secretary Lopez Santos III from the National Anti-Poverty Commission, Undersecretary Michelle Ann B. Gonzalez from the Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor, Dr. Mary Grace T. Pasqua from the National Commission on Indigenous People, Attorney Cesar G. Pimentel II, Vice President, Corporate External Relations of the Aboitiz Equity Ventures Incorporated, IBP National President, Attorney Alan G. Panolong, and Mr. Nicholas K., Deputy Head of Mission for Australia to the Philippines. We also recognize the members of the ULAS Board, Dean Cedfrey M. Candelaria, Dean Manuel P. Kibod, Dean Jose Aguila Grapilon, Attorney Marian Ibadlit, Attorney Carl A. Castillo, and the ULAS consultant, Attorney Cherry P. Kawile. We further acknowledge the presence of court officials led by En banc Clerk of Court, Attorney Marife M. Lumibao Cuevas, as well as our colleagues in the judiciary and our partners from various government agencies and institutions. To formally open our program, may we invite the chairperson of the ULAS Board, Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin S. Caguiwa, to deliver the opening remarks.
Magandang hapon ho sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon. To everyone gathered in this hall and to those joining us beyond it, thank you for being with us today. We are here because there remains in our country a distance between the law as written and the law as lived. ULAS is the bridge we are building to close that gap. On behalf of the ULAS Board, I thank Chief Justice Alex Hesmundo and my colleagues in the Supreme Court, whose trust allowed this vision to take form. I likewise recognize the members of the Technical Working Group who crafted the ULAS rules for laying the groundwork for what we now carry forward. We are equally grateful for the support of the Australian government through the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, the Fair Justice Program, the Asia Foundation, the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, our development partners from Clear Mind Algorithmics, and our very own Management Information Systems Office. Together, we affirm that strengthening access to justice is a shared responsibility, one that transcends institutions and borders. I began by speaking of a distance that must be closed. Yet I am aware that many have quietly wondered, is that distance real? Kailangan nga ba talaga ang ULAS? The answer is found in the work of the institutions before us. We move forward in partnership with the Commission on Human Rights, the National Anti-Poverty Commission, the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples, and the Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor. These agencies stand every day where that gap is experienced firsthand, alongside communities that are still waiting for the promise of justice to reach them. They answer the call of families facing the loss of their homes. They protect ancestral lands and the cultural heritage of indigenous communities. They confront abuses, discrimination, and violations that strike at fundamental rights. They serve the poorest and most vulnerable sectors of our nation. Across all these realities, one need remains constant: the need for lawyers. As you listen to them this afternoon, I hope you recognize that the protection of dignity and rights take many forms. And in each of them, kailangan ng ULAS, kailangan tayo. Within the work already undertaken by these four institutions and other agencies that may join this effort are real people whose needs align with your skills, your experience, and your passions. And so the question now shifts to us. Will we stand where we are needed? Handa ba tayong tumindig kung saan tayo kinakailangan? Today, we build a framework that facilitates the response. By signing the Interagency Memorandum of Understanding, we establish a clear and organized referral pathway, ensuring that when qualified beneficiaries seek assistance from these institutions, they will be directed to covered lawyers prepared to serve. We are also joined by Aboitiz Equity Ventures, whose legal group has demonstrated that legal aid does not have to begin and end in a courtroom. In partnership with the local government unit, their organization will deliver to indigents a broad range of legal aid seminars grounded in the expertise of its lawyers. Alongside these partnerships, we recognize that bringing lawyers and communities closer together also requires systems that make coordination immediate and accessible. At 1 p.m. today, Phase 1 of the ULAS Portal became operational. Lawyers and organizations may now register, and lawyers may be linked to their respective organizations so that their service hours are pooled and properly credited. ULAS Portal account holders may then take the lead by mounting their own legal aid missions and rallying others to serve. In the next phases, targeted for completion by the fourth quarter of 2026, we will add compliance tools, including the logging of service hours, options for financial contributions, and submission of compliance reports. We are building not merely a website. We are building a working system that tracks effort, reinforces accountability, and supports long-term access to justice. Through the ULAS microsite, we will publish a regularly updated calendar of accredited legal outreach programs and missions of our partner agencies, the DOJ Action Center and the IPP, with direct links to their platforms. This will provide lawyers with multiple avenues to contribute and to see clearly how and where their skills can make a difference. Because access begins with awareness, we have recently launched the ULAS Facebook page and the hashtag ULASK initiative to ensure that both lawyers and the public receive easier access to information, clear guidance, and responsive support from the ULAS office. There is so much to celebrate today. Systems are now operational, partnerships are forged, and work plans are in motion. What once existed in concept now stands in structure. And yet, in closing the gap between rights written and rights realized, we must acknowledge that while meaningful progress has been made, there is still far to go. Malayo na, pero malayo pa. Across that remaining distance are people still waiting. Women and children seeking protection from violence, families confronting displacement from their homes, indigenous communities fighting to protect their lands and preserve their culture, and individuals facing the full weight of prosecution without counsel beside them. The bridge we are building leads directly to them, but the distance will narrow only if we choose to cross it. Let us meet them where they are and walk beside them until justice promised becomes justice delivered. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Justice Kagiwa, for your inspiring message. Next, our partner agencies will deliver their respective speeches, each followed by the showing of their AVPs. First, may we call on Secretary Lopez Santos III of the National Anti-Poverty Commission to deliver his message.
Honorable Chief Justice Alexander Esmundo, our Honorable Associate Justices, Alfredo Benjamin Kagiwa, Associate Justice Ramon Paul Hernando, Associate Justice Marvic Leonen, Associate Justice Rodil Saldamea, Associate Justice Raul Villanueva, to our partner leaders of our partner agencies, Attorney Richard Palpal Latok, Dr. Marie Grace Pascua, Honorable Michelle Ann Gonzalez, Attorney Alan Panolong, Attorney Cesar Pimentel III, and Mr. Nicholas Kay from Australian government, our NAPC Vice Chairperson for Basic Sectors, Permelo Inaya, from the farmers sector, to all our partners and stakeholders, a pleasant good afternoon to you all. The National Anti-Poverty Commission would like to thank the Supreme Court for this important step in advancing the rule of law and expanding access to justice, especially for the underprivileged. NAPC, as the primary government agency under the Office of the President, tasked with coordinating efforts to fight poverty, prioritizes the welfare of the poor, and helps ensure their access to their fundamental rights. Last November, during the meeting between NAPC and the Supreme Court, we discussed ways to improve the lives of the Commission's 14 basic sectors through the provision of legal assistance. It was also during that meeting that a Memorandum of Understanding was planned to be signed in 2026 between NAPC and the Supreme Court's Unified Legal Aid Services Initiative and other partners. This memorandum would strengthen our cooperation and our collective commitment to uplift underserved communities. Access to legal services is an important component of a life lived in dignity, upholding the poor's fundamental rights to adequate food, decent work, relevant and quality education, adequate housing, and the highest attainable standard of health, as enshrined in the Magna Carta of the Poor, is integral to the government's poverty alleviation strategies. On a related note, legal protections to these rights must be in place and upheld to help ensure that the intergenerational cycle of poverty is broken, and any gains we have made over the decades of poverty alleviation are sustained. Additionally, pre-legal assistance can also help underserved and qualified beneficiaries due to prohibitively high costs, distance from service providers, or any other mitigating circumstances. Poor individuals may not have the necessary resources to afford legal fees. The Supreme Court's ULAS goes a long way in expanding access to these services, especially to those who need it the most. There is unequal access to these services, with those residing in urban and city centers having more access than those in the far-flung or remote locations. Pro bono legal service can help address this discrepancy and expand the rule of law in our country. This memorandum will also outline our roles as partners. We can leverage the Commission's wide network composed of civil society organizations all over the country representing the 14 basic sectors. These sectors, as identified by Republic Act No. 8425 or the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act. The 14 basic sectors are farmers and landless rural workers, artisanal fisherfolk, urban poor, indigenous peoples, workers in the formal sector and migrant workers, workers in the informal sector, women, youth and students, persons with disabilities, victims of disasters and calamities, senior citizens, non-government organizations, children, and cooperatives. All of them needs expanded legal services. The basic sectors are also uniquely positioned to know the live realities of the sectors they represent and to adequately advocate for their executive and legislative agenda. As partners of the Commission for Development and Poverty Alleviation, their insights can also inform the framework of our partnership to be as suited and responsive to the unique needs of its community in the Philippines. These inputs from the basic sectors would also help us target those who need interventions or free legal assistance at the most. This is in line with the vision of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to target communities which need interventions the most. As emphasized by Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin Caguioa during our November meeting, the ULAS initiative is for the poor and the indigents who may not have the means to afford adequate legal assistance. I look forward to our partnership which would help address this growing need for legal aid. In this regard, we are also pleased to share with you an excerpt from the interview of our NAPC legal consultant, Attorney Andre Nicolotayag, on Aksyon Laban sa Kahirapan, a partnership program between NAPC and the People's Television Network, where he discussed our forthcoming collaboration with the Supreme Court. This signals the Commission's readiness not only to institutionalize this partnership, but also to share this important development with the public and the communities we serve. Naniniwala po kami na ang inisyatibang ito ng Supreme Court ay higit na makakatulong sa ating mga mahihirap na mamamayan. Maraming salamat po.
Ito po ay may kaugnayan rin po kayo or pakikipag-ugnayan sa Supreme Court
Yes,
with this
yes.
implementation. Tell us about that po.
Nabanggit nyo rin po yung sa Supreme Court para sa kaalaman ng mga tagapakinig natin, merong pinag-uutos ang Supreme Court na isang programa ng pagbibigay ng libre na serbisyong legal na requirement sa lahat ng mga private practitioner lawyers. So ito po ay tinatawag na Unified Legal Aid Service or ULAS. Sa ilalim ng programang nilunsad ng Korte Suprema, lahat ng pribadong abogado ay required mag-render ng pro bono legal service 60 hours. So napag-isipan namin ng NAPC sa pamumuno ni Secretary Lopez Santos III na bakit hindi natin kausapin ng Korte Suprema to provide a compliance platform para dito sa requirement nila sa lawyers. So basically, it is a win-win solution na ang Supreme Court naghahanap kung paano ba i-comply itong pro bono requirement. At nandito naman ang NAPC offering the basic sector na dito nyo pwedeng dalhin itong libreng serbisyong legal.
Thank you very much, Secretary Santos. We are also honored to hear from the Chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights, Chairperson Richard Palpal Lato.
Honorable Chief Justice Alexander G. Gesmundo, Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin Escagiwa, sir, distinguished members of the Supreme Court, esteemed members of the Unified Legal Aid Service Board, colleagues from the ULAS office, partners from government agencies, and fellow members of the legal profession. Good afternoon. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. On behalf of the Commission on Human Rights, I extend our sincere appreciation for never be a privilege reserved for the few, but a right genuinely accessible to all. We commend the Supreme Court, the ULAS Board, and the ULAS Office for spearheading the launch of the ULAS Portal 1, or Phase 1, and for convening this partnership among key government institutions to expand access to legal services for qualified beneficiaries across the country. The Commission on Human Rights was established under the 1987 Constitution as an independent national human rights institution. Our mandate is clear and enduring. Investigate human rights violations, monitor state compliance with its human rights obligations, provide legal measures to protect rights, and promote a culture grounded in dignity, accountability, and justice. We exist to ensure that the most vulnerable sector of society are not rendered invisible within the legal system meant to protect them. This essential mandate is precisely where our collaboration today assumes its deepest significance. Every year, the Commission assists thousands of individuals, victims of rights violations, marginalized workers, women and children facing abuse, indigenous peoples defending ancestral lands, persons deprived of liberty, environmental and human rights defenders, and ordinary citizens confronting structural barriers to justice. Their legal needs are diverse, often urgent, often complex, and almost always beyond their capacity to navigate within the legal ecosystem. Central to the Commission's work is our program on legal empowerment of communities. We recognize that access to justice cannot depend solely on institutional interventions. It must be cultivated within communities themselves through legal literacy initiatives, rights-based education, community dialogues, and grassroots engagement. We equip individuals not only to seek remedies when violations occur, but to understand, assert, and defend their rights proactively. Legal empowerment transforms beneficiaries into rights holders who are informed, confident, and capable of engaging the justice system. It shifts the paradigm from dependency to participation, from silence to agency. Our legal aid programs further operationalize this philosophy through initiatives such as legal clinic caravans, community-based dialogues, quick response operations, and jail visitation programs, among others. The Commission brings rights-based assistance directly to the people, particularly those in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. We travel to people who cannot travel for justice. We coordinate with civil society partners and volunteer lawyers so that legal assistance extends beyond institutional limits. The impact of these programs is both immediate and transformative. For individuals, access to legal assistance can mean protection from abuse, restoration of liberty, recognition of basic rights, or relief from unlawful detention. For communities, it fosters trust in institutions, strengthens civic participation, and cultivates a culture in which rights are understood not as abstract guarantees, but as enforceable realities. At the societal level, these interventions strengthen the rule of law, as an accessible justice system supports public confidence, deters violations, and promotes accountability. Today's launch stresses a fundamental reality. Legal aid is not confined to courtroom litigation. It encompasses a broad spectrum of services: legal counseling, documentation, mediation, rights education, policy advisory, policy advocacy, and preventive intervention. Many injustices can be mitigated or even prevented when individuals receive timely legal guidance. The participation of lawyers, therefore, is indispensable not only in adjudication, but in the broader architecture of justice. We thus call upon members of the legal profession to view this initiative not merely as compliance with professional obligations, but as a participation in a national project of justice. Through ULAS, lawyers now have clear pathways to contribute their expertise where it is most needed. For every case accepted, every consultation given, and every right defended, the legal profession affirms its highest calling: service to the public and fidelity to the rule of law. The Memorandum of Understanding we formalize today strengthens this collective effort by enabling partner agencies to certify qualified beneficiaries within their respective mandates. The agreement streamlines procedures for lawyers while ensuring that legal aid reaches those who truly need it. It also establishes mechanisms for cooperation in developing legal initiatives and sharing information consistent with data privacy standards. This is constitutional synergy at its best: efficient, principled, and responsive. The Commission on Human Rights stands firmly committed to this partnership. Access to justice is a cornerstone of human dignity, and institutions must work together to dismantle barriers that prevent individuals from asserting their rights. Maraming salamat po, and may our shared work continue to bring promise to justice closer to every Filipinos.
Batay sa 1987 Philippine Constitution, ang Commission on Human Rights ay may mandatong magsagawa ng investigasyon sa mga paglabag sa karapatang pantao. Ang CHR ay nagbibigay ng masusing atensyon sa mga itinuturing na parte ng marginalized, disadvantaged at vulnerable na mga sektor ng lipunan sa pamamagitan ng paghahatid ng libre at accessible na legal aid services sa bawat sulok ng bansa. Bilang status A accredited national human rights institution, ang CHR ay nananatiling tapat sa kanyang tungkulin na maghatid ng prompt, responsive, accessible at excellent public service para sa bawat Pilipino. Sa ilalim ng protection mandate, tinitiyak ng CHR na merong access to justice ang mga biktima ng mga paglabag sa karapatang pantao at ang kanilang mga pamilya. Ang Legal Clinic Caravan ay isang nationwide legal outreach program na naghahatid ng direktang serbisyong legal sa mga vulnerableng komunidad na may limitadong access to justice dahil sa layo at kakulangan sa resources. Mula 2017 hanggang 2025, nakapagsagawa na ang CHR ng 196 legal clinic caravans sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa at nakapaglingkod na sa mahigit 17,000 na kliyente. Ang free legal assistance access channels ng CHR ay para sa legal counseling at complaint documentation sa pamamagitan ng walk-in, phone-in, at e-lawyering services. Dagdag dito ang Management Information System Monitoring Outlet o CHR mismo, isang client-friendly portal para sa online complaints. Ang Strategic Litigation Program ng CHR ay ang planado at sistematikong paghawak ng mga kasong may malaking implikasyon sa batas at polisiya. Layunin nitong hindi lamang makamit ang hustisya para sa isang biktima, kundi magtakda ng precedent at magdulot ng pangmatagalang pagpapabuti sa lagay ng karapatang pantao sa bansa. Samantala, ang Quick Response Operation o QRO ay isang emergency legal at protection mechanism. Agarang nagpapadala ang komisyon ng mga abogado at investigador upang tumugon sa mga sitwasyong itinuturing na may imminent threat o may kasalukuyang nagaganap na paglabag sa karapatang pantao. Sa QRO, tinitiyak ang agarang documentation, affidavit preparation, evidence preservation, referrals, at legal guidance sa mga biktima at kanilang pamilya. Ang promotion mandate ay naglalayong palawakin at palalimin ang kaalaman ng publiko tungkol sa karapatang pantao at sa mga serbisyong ibinibigay ng CHR sa pamamagitan ng iba't ibang training, lectures, orientations at information campaigns sa buong bansa. Sa ilalim nito, isinasagawa ang human rights education and training programs upang higit na maunawaan ng mga komunidad, rights holders at duty bearers ang kanilang karapatan at obligasyon, kabilang ang mga remedyo, mandato ng CHR at wastong pagdokumento ng paglabag sa karapatang pantao. Sa ilalim ng prevention mandate, inaatasan ng CHR na mag-monitor ng mga polisiya at programa ukol sa kalagayan ng persons deprived of liberty o PDLs, kabilang ang pagsasagawa ng unannounced, unhampered at unrestricted visits sa mga places of deprivation of liberty. Sa cloud din ito ang pag-monitor sa mga rehabilitation centers at mental health facilities. Kaugnay nito ang Jail Visitation Program, isang institutionalized protection monitoring at legal assistance mechanism na nakabatay sa visitorial mandate ng CHR at pinagtibay ng Anti-Torture Act at Anti-Enforced or Involuntary Disappearance Act upang i-monitor ang kondisyon ng mga PDL at tiyaking ligtas sila mula sa torture at ill treatment. Kasama rin ang libreng legal counseling at dokumentasyon ng mga paglabag sa karapatang pantao. Kabilang pa rito ang pagbibigay tulong kaugnay ng sentence computation, time allowances, eligibility for release, at early release mechanisms. Inilunsad rin ng CHR ang Project Puting Papel para sa PDL, isang inisyatibang naglalayong gawing mas direkta, ligtas, at tiyak ang proseso ng paghingi ng tulong mula sa komisyon. Ang policy mandate ay nagbibigay daan sa CHR na magrekomenda sa Kongreso ng mga batas at akbang upang higit na maprotektahan ang karapatan ng lahat. Dito rin minomonitor ang pagsunod ng pamahalaan sa mga international human rights treaties na nilagdaan nito. Sa pagsasagawa ng community-based dialogues, isang participatory legal outreach mechanism, nag-uusap ang rights holders at duty bearers upang agaran at komprehensibong matugunan ang mga human rights concerns, lalo na kung may paulit-ulit na tensyon, labor disputes at iba pang paglabag. Bahagi rin ng Safe Spaces Caravan Program sa iba't ibang eskwelahan sa bansa. Isa itong nationwide legal outreach at education campaign na nagpapalakas sa pagpapatupad ng Safe Spaces Act sa pamamagitan ng legal education, rights awareness, documentation, at survivor-centered legal assistance para sa mga biktima ng gender-based sexual harassment sa mga private, public, at online spaces. Bilang pagsasakatuparan ng aming mandato, narito ang CHR para magbigay ng mga serbisyong libre, accessible, at bukas sa bawat Pilipino sa lahat ng sulok ng bansa. Para sa CHR, walang dapat humadlang sa karapatan ng sinuman na makamit ang hustisya.
Thank you, Chairperson Palpalato. May we now invite Dr. Marie Grace T. Pasqua of the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples to deliver her message.
Happy Women's Month. That's the voice from the women's sector. Allow me to greet you in the language where I came from the Cordillera, particularly from Ifugao, Maphod an Argo, Pehed ni Eggeo, which means good day to everyone. To the esteemed associate justices, the officials of the Supreme Court, led by the Chief Justice, Honorable Honorable Alexander G. Jasmundo, our partners in government who will be joining us to sign this MOU, all from civil society who are present, our development partners from Australian and Asia Foundation, and everyone present here who believe that there should be speedy justice. Today, I stand before you to speak about justice, inclusion, and our shared responsibility to uphold the rights and dignity of the indigenous peoples of the Philippines. In doing so, I will highlight the role of the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples in implementing the Supreme Court of the Philippines Unified Legal Aid Service Program. The Philippines is home to more than 220 indigenous peoples groups, or what we call indigenous cultural communities, each with distinct language, traditions, governance systems, and customary laws and practices. The passage of Republic Act 8371, or IPRA, marked a historic milestone in the formal recognition of their rights. It affirms the state's recognition and promotion of the rights of ICC's IPs to their ancestral domains and lands, self-governance and empowerment, social justice and human rights, and the preservation and promotion of their cultural integrity. Despite IPRA, which provides legal recognition of their rights, many IPs continue to face marginalization, including limited access to basic services such as health and education, economic opportunities, and most critically, access to justice. To give you data, as of 2026, the total indigenous peoples population in the Philippines stands at 14,184,645. However, between 2022 and 2025, only 58,272 indigenous peoples benefited from the legal services programs of NCIP, which is a mere 0.41% of the current total IP population. There you see that access to justice for IPs is a serious and persistent challenge. Unfamiliarity with formal court processes, language barriers, inadequate recognition, and harmonization of customary laws within mainstream institutions, geographical isolation, and financial constraints are some of the reasons that hinder IPs from the full realization of rights and equal protection under the law. While IPRA provides a strong legal foundation for the protection and advancement of IP rights, the full realization of these rights requires sustained institutional support. The NCIP has created or is created to protect and promote the rights and well-being of IPs, ICCs. It is mandated to implement laws recognizing their rights to ancestral domain, self-governance, social justice, and cultural integrity. However, this mandate cannot be fulfilled by NCIP alone. It must be carried out through strong collaboration and shared responsibility, and sustained support from partner institutions, key stakeholders such as Supreme Court, the IBP, the CHR, the NAPC, the PCUP, and the legal profession. Recognizing this, the unified program of the Supreme Court strengthens the justice system's commitment to inclusive access to legal services. The program institutionalizes and harmonizes legal aid efforts, ensuring that qualified individuals, particularly the IPs, are supported in the pursuit of justice. The intersection between the NCIP and ULAS is both vital and necessary. First, NCIP provides legal services to IPs that are specific to ancestral domain claims and IP rights protection. Collaboration with the broader legal aid network ensures that IPs individual also receive representation in criminal, civil, and administrative cases beyond ancestral land issues. Second, the ULAS program enhances capacity, engaging the legal profession in structured pro bono and legal aid work expands the pool of lawyers who may assist IP clients referred by or coordinated with the NCIP. Thus, the program effectively multiplies the resources and manpower dedicated to protecting IP rights. Third, this collaboration promotes harmonization between customary law and the formal justice system. IPs have their own traditional or indigenous mechanisms or practices for resolving disputes. When disputes reach formal courts, lawyers trained and guided under the ULAS service framework can work alongside the NCIP to ensure that customary practices are respected and properly presented within judicial proceedings. Ultimately, this partnership and collaboration under the ULAS program are intentionally aligned with NCIP Trust number 1, which is transforming NCIP, and Trust number 3, which is empowering indigenous peoples. This is to promote governance, human rights, social justice, and cultural preservation. This partnership reflects a core constitutional principle. Justice should not be reserved for the privileged, but must be accessible to all, especially those who have been historically marginalized. Thank you to the ongoing work of the National Commission, the office I represent, and the Supreme Court, and the ULAS Board. We are making progress toward a justice system that genuinely includes, safeguards, and uplifts all Filipinos, moving us nearer to fulfilling the constitutional promise of equality under the law. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay tayong lahat, and Haggiyo. At this point, for your kind indulgence, may I introduce the 10th Commission. Full force po kami na nandito. We suspended our commission to give full support to this project. With me here, we have Attorney Rodex Valenciano, the Ethnographic Commissioner of Region 3, Commissioner Catamco, Nancy Catamco, Ethnographic Commissioner of Region Central Mindanao, Commissioner Hagada, Ethnographic Commissioner of Region 2, and we have Commissioner Albert Alejo, Ethnographic Commissioner of Southeastern Mindanao. Also, our directors are here. We have the Director for Lao Legal Affairs Office, Director Adrian Dunuan, and Director Ray Dingal from our OSES, and some of our chiefs are also here. Maraming salamat sa lahat.
The National Commission on Indigenous Peoples is mandated to protect and promote the interests and well-being of indigenous cultural communities and indigenous peoples. This is done with full respect for their beliefs, customs, traditions, and institutions in line with the national development goals. NCIP Central, regional, and provincial offices and community service centers work together to implement programs and deliver services to indigenous peoples across the nation. Considering the country's cultural diversity, it underscores the importance of region-specific and culturally sensitive interventions. The NCIP implements 4 core programs, Ancestral Domains Program, Self-Governance and Empowerment Program, Social Justice and Human Rights Program, and Cultural Integrity Program. These programs operationalize the 4 bundles of rights. The Ancestral Domains Program focuses on the sustainable management and development of ancestral lands. It promotes indigenous knowledge systems, benefit-sharing mechanisms, and prioritizes community-led development projects. The Self-Governance Program and Empowerment Program strengthen indigenous people's participation in governance. It supports capacity building, political representation, and meaningful engagement in policy and decision-making processes. Components include documentation of indigenous political structures, confirmation of IP membership, registration of organizations, support for IP mandatory representatives, and establishment of domain management offices. The Social Justice and Human Rights Program promotes access to justice, social protection, education, health, and livelihood services. It upholds the principle that indigenous people's rights are human rights. Key components include rights advocacy, education and health services, legal assistance, socioeconomic programs, and the establishment of ancestral domain development services. The Cultural Integrity Program protects and promotes indigenous heritage, traditions, and knowledge systems. It supports research, documentation, advocacy, and cultural revitalization initiatives. Activities include documentation of customary laws, cultural research, heritage protection, and capacity building to ensure cultural knowledge is passed on to future generations. Aligning with the outcomes of the Unified Legal Aid Service, the NCIP provides legal services to ICC's IPs seeking government assistance as part of the agency's mandate, implemented in all NCIP offices nationwide. The NCIP's legal services falls under its core program on social justice and human rights program, which includes the NCIP Legal Service Program. This is divided into 2 components, namely Indigenous Peoples Legal Assistance, providing free of charge representation, investigation on complaints, and legal services to walk-in clients, and paralegal training, providing orientation on the IPRA of 1997 aimed to strengthen legal awareness to better protect indigenous people's rights.
Thank you, Dr. Pascua. We now call on Undersecretary Michelle Ann B. Gonzalez of the Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor.
The Honorable Chief Justice Alexander Gismundo, Senior Associate Justice Marivic MVF Leonen, Chairperson of the ULAS Board, Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin Cagiwa, Associate Justice Ramon Paul Hernando, Associate Justice Rodil Zalameda, Associate Justice Joseph Lopez, Associate Justice Raul Villanueva, distinguished guests, fellow public servants, magandang hapon po. I stand before you as the chairperson and CEO of the Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor with a clear invitation. Please partner with us in bringing justice closer to the urban poor. Every day, we see the faces behind the files. For many of them, the law feels distant and intimidating. But through your service under our urban poor legal assistance services, it becomes a shield, a pathway, a voice. At PCUP, your legal aid hours means preventing unlawful demolition. It means securing tenure through sound agreements. It means mediating disputes before they escalate and ensuring that the most vulnerable are not left behind. This is not simply compliance. It is justice in action. But PCUP is not just about demolition and eviction. It's fun in PCUP. It's about giving hope and a future. Last year, we launched our social preparation flagship framework called Alpas Comunidad. It's a holistic approach to social preparation. And we need a lot of legal services to ensure the success of this program. Alpas meaning A, access. PCUP being the direct link between the poor and the programs and policies of the government. L, livelihood. P, pabahay at lupa. A, agriculture, promoting urban farming and aquaculture. And S, sustainability. We are hoping that you would join us in PCUP, especially now that we are prioritizing the social preparation of our big-ticket railway projects of the government. There are a lot of social preparations that needs to be done. We cannot and we must not give up on our poor, because if we do, this will have a ripple effect on our society. We are hoping that you will choose PCUP to render your services. Let us work together to close that distance. Let's work together to bring hope and dignity to the least of our brothers. And let me end by saying, blessed are the poor, and blessed are those who will help the poor. Maraming salamat po.
A home is more than walls and a roof. It is security, dignity, and the future of a family. Yet for many urban poor communities, the threat of demolition brings fear, uncertainty, and the painful possibility of displacement. In past years, there have been documented incidents of tense and at times violent demolition activities affecting thousands of families across the country. These situations underscore a critical truth. Development must never come at the cost of dignity. What is needed is not merely enforcement, but clarity, compassion, and a lawful process. To safeguard the rights of underprivileged and homeless citizens, the Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor, or PCUP, was established. Under Executive Order No. 82, PCUP serves as the direct link of the urban poor to the government, ensuring that their voices are heard at the highest levels of governance. Further strengthened by Executive Order No. 69, PCUP was transferred to the Office of the President to more effectively coordinate, formulate, and evaluate policies and programs concerning the urban poor. This executive action reinforced PCUP's core functions, empowering it to lead in policy development, advocacy, and interagency coordination for the protection of marginalized communities. As the government's primary bridge to urban poor sectors, PCUP ensures that eviction and demolition processes are carried out fairly, humanely, and strictly in accordance with the law. Under Executive Orders No. 152 and 708, PCUP is designated as the government agency mandated to protect the urban poor in matters of eviction and demolition. It ensures compliance with the Urban Development and Housing Act or UDHA, particularly the principle of just and humane demolition. Beyond monitoring demolition and eviction activities, PCUP implements comprehensive programs and services, including policy formulation, recommendation and advocacy, accreditation of urban poor organizations or UPOs, social preparation, capability building, consultation and community dialogue, monitoring of demolition and eviction. These programs collectively ensure that protection is not reactive, but preventive, developmental, and rights-based. One key mechanism of PCUP is the Pre-Demolition Conference or PDC, a platform that brings together affected residents, LGUs, implementing agencies, law enforcement, and social service providers. Here, legal bases are clarified, due process is reviewed, peace and order measures are planned, and relocation assistance is discussed. More importantly, it provides space for the community's voice, helping prevent conflict and uphold dignity. Monitoring and coordination alone are not enough. Urban poor communities must have meaningful access to legal assistance. Through collaboration with the Unified Legal Aid Service or ULAS of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, qualified individuals may receive free legal assistance in cases involving eviction, demolition, housing rights, and related concerns. As we enter the 40th anniversary, the PCUP achieved a total number of 16,685 accredited urban poor organizations from 1987 to 2025, reaching 1,404,572 member families, for a total of 7,022,860 urban poor individuals that may require legal representation and support. Major infrastructure initiatives such as North to South Commuter Railway Project further highlight the urgent need for legal assistance, particularly for affected families navigating relocation, compensation, documentation, and housing rights. Beyond eviction and demolition concerns, legal services are also vital in areas such as housing and relocation issues, formation and accreditation of urban poor organizations, drafting of urban poor organization policies, cooperative development, legal support for small urban poor enterprises, violence against women and children cases, protection of basic civil and property rights. The need is not occasional, it is continuous. Development does not end with infrastructure, relocation, or housing projects. True progress is measured by how we uphold the dignity of every Filipino. Through a whole-of-nation approach, PCUP continues to implement programs nationwide, from capability-building trainings and legal awareness initiatives to accreditation, social preparation, consultation, and community dialogues, serving as the bridge of the urban poor to the government and the vision of a bagong Pilipinas. PCUP remains the steadfast partner and advocate of the urban poor in advancing just, humane, and inclusive urban development. And this is where the legal profession becomes indispensable. By practicing law in partnership with PCUP and ULAS, lawyers do more than represent clients. They protect families, defend rights, prevent conflict, and uphold justice where it is needed most. This is not merely legal work. It is nation building. It is dignity in action. We invite you to stand with us. Blessed are the poor, but blessed are those who help the poor.
Thank you, Undersecretary Gonzalez. We now proceed to the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding to formally institutionalize interagency collaboration in the implementation of the ULAS Rules and Manual. May we invite the following to please come forward: Chief Justice Alexander G. Hesmundo, Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin S. Caguiwa, Secretary Lope B. Santos, Attorney Richard P. Palpal-Latok, Dr. Marie Grace T. Pascua, Undersecretary Michelle Ann B. Gonzalez, Attorney Ria Burbano Ablan, Mr. Fermelo C. Enaya, Attorney Andre Nicolo G. Tayag, Director Jasmine Navarro Regino, Commissioner Rodex P. Valencia, Commissioner Emmanuel E. Gizon Jr., and Commissioner Brett B. Monsato. May we also invite Attorney Marife M. Lumibao Cuevas to join the signatories and witnesses. Following the signing, may we request our signatories to remain in front for a photo session. The MOU establishes a framework for institutional coordination, particularly in the identification, certification, and referral of qualified beneficiaries by the partner agencies, consistent with the standards under the ULAS Rules and Manual. The proposed MOU likewise provides for the recognition by the ULAS Office of Qualified Beneficiary Certifications to be issued by the partner agencies, subject to the parameters set forth in the MOU, and outlines the respective duties of the parties in furtherance of access to justice for underprivileged Filipinos. May we ask all signatories to face the cameras and hold up the document. May we now invite all signatories to please stand up and hold up the document for the photo. We shall now present a token of appreciation to our partner agencies. May we invite Mr. Nicholas K., IBP National President Attorney Alan G. Panolong, and Vice President for Corporate External Relations of Aboitiz Equity Ventures, Attorney Cesar G. Pimentel III, to join our partner agencies in front in receiving the tokens. Thank you very much to our signatories and witnesses. You may now return to your seats. May we now invite Attorney Alan G. Panolong, National President of the IBP, to deliver his message.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Almighty God be with everyone. To Chief Justice Honorable Alexander G. Gesmundo of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, Senior Associate Justice Marvic Leonen, Honorable Alfredo Benjamin Caguiwa, Associate Justice and Chairperson of the ULAS, Honorable Ramon Paul Hernando, Associate Justice, Honorable Rodil Salameda, Associate Justice, to our fellow ULAS members who are present today, our officials from the different government agencies, to our Integrated Bar of the Philippines national officers, our Executive Vice President and Governor for Bicolandia, Attorney Randall Tabayoyong, our Governor for Greater Manila Region, Governor Maria Elena Francisco Go, National Center for Legal Aid Director, Attorney Roy Riig, our National Director for Chapter Affairs, Attorney Jam Ibanez, our ULAS staffs and officers, distinguished guests, mayong hapon kaninyong tanan, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Today is not just a launch. Today is a turning point. The launch of the ULAS Portal is more than just the introduction of a digital platform. It strengthens our national commitment to make justice in the Philippines more responsive, accountable, and accessible, especially for those who need it most. It is a commitment that the legal profession will not turn away those who cannot afford representation, and that justice will not be limited to those who can pay. And for this, we thank the Honorable Supreme Court. We thank the Court for ULAS and for the vision, courage, and leadership that made it possible. We appreciate that the Court turned ULAS into a system that truly works, not just a mandate. Allow me to say this with pride and humility. The IBP has been with the Supreme Court in this endeavor, not only as a stakeholder, but also as a partner. From the earliest consultation caravans to the dialogues, to the finalization of the rules and manuals, the IBP stood ready because we understood what was at stake. This was not just about requiring pro bono hours. It was about building a system where legal aid becomes a nationwide culture, not just an occasional act of charity. Thus, the IBP conducted lectures and orientations. We mobilized chapters. We aligned our legal aid desks. We strengthened partnerships. We realized early that rules alone do not change systems. They need to be matched with infrastructure, programs, partnerships, training, and coordination. One of the most concrete institutional contributions of the IBP during this period was the conceptualization and drafting of the Lawyer of the Day Initiative, or LODI, as we call it. The moment ULAS was announced, we asked twin urgent questions. First, how can we better serve the qualified beneficiaries? Second, how do we help lawyers comply meaningfully? The LODI program provides a structured, uniform platform through which NCLA, or the National Center for Legal Aid, and the IBP chapters across the country may establish legal aid help desks to consultations and the delivery of legal aid services in accordance with the ULAS rules. And now today, the Supreme Court launches the ULAS Portal version 1. This portal is an infrastructure for justice. It will make it easier to monitor compliance fairly, document service accurately, professionalize legal aid delivery, and strengthen the credibility of pro bono work across the profession. Since July 2025, in anticipation and support of ULAS, at least 38 ULAS lectures and orientations nationwide, reaching 4,962 lawyers and 86 LODI legal aid desks were established. We have assisted 6,277 walk-in clients, with 4,216 receiving advice and 1,668 documents drafted or notarized. Our chapters are also collectively handling 2,925 active legal aid cases. In sum, we have held a total of 1,368 caravans, including legal aid, educational, jail decongestion, and developmental legal aid, benefiting 139,149 individuals. These numbers reflects something deeper, a profession responding. The portal now invites all of us into a single organized system that is therefore accessible. This is unity, and unity is the only way to win the fight against injustice. Injustice, poverty, abuse, and the need for legal help are all relentless. Our response must be as strong. On behalf of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, we say to the Honorable Supreme Court, we are with you. We are with you not only in principle, we are with you in practice. We are with you in the difficult work of implementation. We are with you in translating policy into action. We are with you in the hard days when the systems will be tested. And we are with you in the long work of building a legal aid culture across the nation. We will continue to expand LODI and other ULAS-assigned initiatives, continue nationwide orientations and communications training, strengthen chapter capacity and support systems, partner with courts, law schools, and legal aid organizations, and develop and advocate for ULASable activities that are meaningful, measurable, and sustainable. To my fellow lawyers, ULAS is not here to burden us. It reminds us why we took our oath. And in every consultation given, and in every pleading prepared, in every detention visit made, in every indigent client assisted, we showed the public that the law can be trusted. Our esteemed Chief Justice, honorable justices, ladies and gentlemen, in the IBP, we believe that the ULAS portal is not the end of a process. It is the beginning of a stronger system where the profession and the court work together, where legal aid is assured, and where justice becomes more reachable. And so today, as the portal is launched, let us renew our commitment, renew our unity, renew our sense of purpose, because in the end, ULAS is not just about compliance. ULAS is about compassion. ULAS is about dignity. ULAS is about the constitutional promise that justice shall be accessible to all. And with the Supreme Court's leadership and the IBP's nationwide force, and of course our partner agencies, we can make that promise real. Maraming salamat po. Again, serve the country. Hail the IBP.
The Integrated Bar of the Philippines has long been committed to making justice accessible. Even before the Unified Legal Aid Service rules began, the IBP was already helping people. Now, with ULAS in place, we call these efforts ULASable activities, initiatives that show ULAS in action. At the forefront is our Lawyer of the Day initiative, or LODI. With LODI, legal aid desks are set up at the National Center for Legal Aid in the IBP National Office in Pasig and in IBP chapters across the country on certain days each week. Volunteer lawyers are available and ready to give advice, guidance, and representation to those who need it most. Today, IBP chapters throughout the country continue to maintain LODI desks in their offices and communities. Justice is now closer and within reach. The IBP has also strengthened access by engaging partner agencies such as the Department of Migrant Workers, the Anti-Red Tape Authority, the National Labor Relations Commission, the Department of Tourism, the COMELEC, the Bureau of Correction, the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, the National Commission for Indigenous Peoples, the Cooperative Development Authority, and the Philippine Stock Exchange, to name a few, working toward establishing legal aid desks within their premises that lawyers can man, as well as working on ULASable activities that lawyers can join. We make legal help more accessible by bringing it to places where people already go for assistance. Even before ULAS, IBP chapters were already visiting jails, holding legal literacy seminars, running outreach programs, and helping women, children, and other vulnerable groups. With ULAS, especially starting in 2025, these efforts are now aligned to meet ULAS standards. This helps make sure our services stay organized, responsible, and effective. If you need legal help, you can visit the IBP chapter nearest you or the National Center for Legal Aid at the IBP National Office in Pasig. Just scan the QR code for contact details. If you are a lawyer ready to serve, you can register through the official ULAS portal and coordinate with your IBP chapter to participate in legal aid activities. Scan the QR code for more information. The IBP keeps finding new ways to serve, making ULAS not just a duty for lawyers, but a real connection to communities. Because access to justice must always move forward, and the IBP is already moving. Serve the country, hail the IBP.
Thank you very much, Attorney Panolong. Now let us hear from the private sector as they share their perspective and initiatives in supporting the ULAS framework. May we invite Attorney Cesar G. Pimentel III, Vice President for Corporate External Relations of Aboitiz Equity Ventures Incorporated.
A pleasant afternoon to the Honorable Chief Justice Alexander Esmundo, Chairperson of the ULAS Board, Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin Caguiwa, Associate Justice Ramon Paul Hernando, Associate Justice Rodil Zalameda, and to the various leaders of the government agencies who are present here, honored guests, again, good afternoon. The promulgation of the rules on the Unified Legal Aid Service, or ULAS, was a transformative moment for the Philippine judiciary. This policy moved the concept of pro bono work from a moral suggestion to a professional standard. However, the true success of ULAS lies in its execution on the ground, on how it translates to achieving the objectives of the judiciary. Today, we present a pioneering partnership that we believe will provide a sustainable, long-term blueprint for operationalizing the court's vision through a powerful synergy among the judiciary, the private sector, and local governments. Central to this mission is the active participation of the Aboitiz Group. We are witnessing a landmark shift in how the private sector engages with the government, particularly with the judiciary. This is not a fleeting CSR moment. It is a centralized and institutionalized commitment from the Aboitiz Group to integrate its legal resources towards minimizing the gap and achieving accessible justice in the communities. By aligning its corporate strength with the ULAS framework, Aboitiz is providing a stable, long-term foundation for legal aid in the communities with the help of the Legal Aid Society of the Philippines
and the local government units, starting with Pasig City. This centralized effort ensures that the program remains beneficial for years to come, providing the consistent legal expertise in business development, consumer protection, and financial literacy, mobilizing resources needed to move our citizens and MSMEs from legal vulnerability to economic empowerment. This initiative proves that when a conglomerate of this scale chooses to serve, the gap closes in achieving access to justice. While we stand here today with the support of the Pasig City government, it is important to emphasize that this effort is not limited to a single boundary. We are actively partnering with a growing coalition of local government units. Cities that, like Pasig, have demonstrated a high level of governance, transparency, and executive will. Our collaboration is designed to be a plug-and-play model for any LGU that prioritizes the rule of law as a tool for development. By working with a network of progressive local leaders, we ensure that the benefits of the Aboitiz Group's centralized efforts are felt across the country. This multi-LGU approach provides the Supreme Court and the ULAS Board with a diverse, scalable initiative that can be tailored to different urban and rural contexts, all while maintaining a gold standard of legal service to those who need it the most. Honorable Justices, what we have built here is a sustainable triangle of support to achieve access to justice. The Supreme Court's legal framework, the institutional resources of the Aboitiz Group, and the Legal Aid Society of the Philippines, and a network of proactive LGUs led by cities like Pasig. This partnership is designed to be a long-term commitment that is mutually reinforcing. Beyond compliance, this partnership strengthens the rule of law, empowers the local economy and communities, and fulfills our collective duty to support the underprivileged. We offer this pioneering model as a testament to our shared belief that justice should not be a rare event, but a reliable, daily reality accessible to every Filipino. Maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat.
At Aboitiz, we uphold our promise of advancing business and communities by partnering with the Pasig City government and the Legal Aid Society of the Philippines to expand access to justice through the Unified Legal Aid Service. Through this initiative, we will provide free legal assistance to underserved individuals. Quarterly legal aid seminars and consultations will be conducted in Pasig City, drawing on our legal expertise to cover financial literacy, MSME development, and consumer rights, empowering individuals and small entrepreneurs to make informed decisions and drive economic participation.
The Unified Legal Aid Service provides lawyers a more structured and coordinated framework for rendering mandatory legal aid. So instead of handling pro bono cases in an ad hoc manner, lawyers can now align their services within a unified system. This makes it easier to comply with the legal aid requirements while ensuring that the lawyer's efforts are properly monitored, credited, and of course, impactful. This partnership allows lawyers, especially the new and young ones, to gain exposure to a broader range of clients and issues to handle that can enhance their practical skills and experience, particularly in areas that they do not encounter in their usual or regular practice. So overall, ULAS, through this partnership, fosters a culture of professional accountability and social responsibility, reinforcing public trust in the Philippine legal profession.
Many lawyers build their careers in their chosen fields, whether that is in litigation, finance and capital markets, or government service, among many other practice areas. They seldom have the time or the occasion to do the work that also matters, which is to provide access to justice. That is why the Unified Legal Aid Service Program, or ULAS, is both timely and necessary. It gives lawyers the opportunity to guide people and communities dealing with real-world problems and help alleviate frustration caused by the scarcity of legal representation. Union Bank has already done something along the same vein when, as part of our outreach program, our in-house lawyers volunteered to educate several barangays in Pasig City on how to effectively implement the Katarungang Pambarangay Law. That experience had an overwhelmingly meaningful impact on both our lawyers and the barangays that participated. We learned then that the law is such a powerful tool for protection and empowerment. In the same way, we hope that ULAS is not just a program of compliance. It is a commitment to fairness, to dignity, and the rule of law.
At the Boities, we're guided by a simple belief. Progress happens when we think out of the box and when we squeeze the orange, extracting the most value from every challenge by turning it into something useful for people and communities. That mindset is exactly why this ULAS initiative is very important to the Aboitiz Group. ULAS provides a practical way to expand access to justice by making legal help more effective and reachable for those who need it most. With this pioneering project, we will leverage the expertise and resources of the Aboitiz Group in power, finance, food, infrastructure, real estate, and technology to build solutions that are clear, scalable, and grounded in real community needs. On behalf of the Aboitiz Group, thank you to the Supreme Court, the ULAS Board, the IBP, and the LGUs for this privilege to partner on this meaningful initiative. Together with both private and public sectors working hand in hand, we can drive change so that access to justice doesn't remain an aspiration, but an everyday reality for all Filipinos.
This partnership reflects our shared commitment to empower communities and strengthen the rule of law by making legal services more accessible to those who need them most. It also underscores the vital role of private sector legal professionals in helping bridge gaps and expand access to justice, contributing to more inclusive and equitable growth in the Philippines.
Thank you, Attorney Pimentel. Before we proceed to the presentation of the instructional videos, we now invite Mr. Nicholas Kay, Deputy Head of Mission for Australia to the Philippines, to deliver his message.
Good afternoon, everyone. I begin by acknowledging Chief Justice Alexander Gesmundo, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. I also acknowledge the multiple justices of the court here today, as well as the other distinguished members of the judiciary and the executive, our valued development partners, and all those with a keen interest in this work. It's a privilege to be here on behalf of the Australian Government to mark this launch of the Unified Legal Aid Services Portal. I'd like to recognise the extensive work of the Supreme Court, and particularly the Technical Working Group on Unified Legal Aid Services under the leadership of Associate Justice Kagiwa, for bringing this legal aid reform to life. To borrow Justice Kagiwa's metaphor earlier, this is a bridge of many planks, as reflected in the diversity of partners here today.
but it's a crucial bridge and it's a noble bridge. Australia and the Philippines share the view that legal aid is essential for ensuring access to justice and equality before the law for all our people. Innovations such as this help make critical legal services and expertise more accessible to those who need it most. As we celebrate 80 years of the bilateral relationship between Australia and the Philippines, Australia has been proud to be partner of this initiative through our Fair Justice program. We've been pleased to support the development of the ULAS rules, the establishment of the ULAS offices and processes, and now the launch of the portal. It's an especially exciting initiative because it reflects the court's commitment to innovation, to harnessing technology to improve how the judicial system can support the most vulnerable people in the country. It also demonstrates real leadership across the board in working collaboratively with partners to make a difference. So congratulations and thank you. We recognise all those in this room dedicated to mobilising this reform and those who will continue to invest time, knowledge, skills and, critically, empathy in ensuring its success. Australia remains committed to supporting the Philippines to advance inclusive justice reforms and ensure no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kay, for your message and continued support. Now, to guide our stakeholders in navigating the ULAS portal, 4 instructional videos have been prepared. These videos will walk us through the following. First, how lawyers can create an account in the Philippine Judiciary Portal, the gateway to accessing the ULAS system. Second, the verification process for organizations seeking registration in the ULAS portal. Third, how authorized representatives can manage lawyers under a registered organization. And fourth, the accreditation process for covered lawyers and registered organizations for legal outreach programs and missions through the portal. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to present the ULAS instructional video series.
How to create an account through the Philippine Judiciary platform. Click Create an Account. Choose whether or not you are an employee of the Philippine Judiciary. You will be asked to tick whether or not you are a member of the Philippine Bar. If you are a member of the Bar, remember to input your name as registered in the Philippine Bar membership. If you are a recently married female, you may still have to use your maiden name, if that is what is registered in your Bar membership. Upload your recent ID photos and government IDs. You should likewise be asked to upload your company ID or an additional government ID. Wait for the verification after clicking the Request Account before you may be able to create a password and answer a security question. Go to your email and follow the succeeding instructions. Click Verify My Account Request. Once verified, you will receive another email welcoming you to the Philippine Judiciary platform. Click Get Started. Follow the instructions on how to activate your account by choosing a security question and type in your answer. Next, nominate your password. This is the password you will use whenever you are using the platform. If you are not a member of the Philippine Bar, uploading of IDs is not required. You may proceed to create your password and security question. Congratulations! You now have an account in the Philippine Judiciary platform.
Offering free legal aid but not sure how to get your organization on the ULAS portal? We've got you. Welcome to the portal of the Unified Legal Aid Service, or simply, the ULAS Portal, the Supreme Court's new digital gateway for connecting covered lawyers and registered organizations with Filipinos who need legal assistance but cannot afford it. Here's how to get verified as a registered organization in just a few easy steps. Step 1. log in. Registered organizations should designate an authorized representative or AR to verify and manage their ULAS Portal account. The AR starts by logging in to the Philippine Judiciary Platform or PJP using his or her verified account. Step 2. Open the ULAS Portal. Once logged in, look for the ULAS Portal tile on your dashboard and click it. You are now inside the ULAS Gateway. Step 3. Verify your organization. At the center of the screen, you'll see the Registered Organization Verification panel. Click Verify Now. This opens the registration form for organizations. Step 4. Complete the registration form. Here's where you officially register your organization. Fill out the form as the AR using the details exactly as they appear on your supporting documents, like your articles of incorporation or your general information sheet. You'll be asked for the type of organization, the name of the organization, your organizational documents, the organization's address, your title or position in the organization, and your proof of authority to represent it. The personal details of the AR are already filled in as they are pulled directly from your PJP account. Just double-check everything before moving on. Step 5. Submit your application. When everything looks good, tick the box that says, I have read and agreed. Then click Submit Application. You'll get an email confirming that the ULAS office has received your request. An ULAS office personnel will then review and verify your submission. Step 6. Wait for approval. Once your organization is verified, you will receive another email confirming your approval. From that point on, you'll have access to all the authorized representative features for as long as your appointment is active. Step 7. Enter the ULAS Portal. To start using the ULAS Portal, just return to the PJP ULAS Portal. On the left side of the screen, click Enter, and you will be redirected straight into the ULAS Portal. You are now ready to use the ULAS Portal for compliance and reporting of legal aid services. With ULAS, registered organizations become part of a unified system for delivering legal aid to those who need it the most. This guide shows how an authorized representative or AR can manage lawyers under a registered organization or RO in the ULAS Portal. Step 1. Log in. Start by logging in to the Philippine Judiciary Platform or PJP using your verified account. Step 2. Access ULAS. From your dashboard, click the ULAS Portal tile. Step 3. Choose your role. When prompted, click Continue to Registered Organization Account. This allows you to proceed as the organization's AR. Step 4. Manage your registered organization. On the dashboard, locate the Registered Organization tile and click View Details. You will be taken to the RO Detail page, where you can view and manage the lawyers connected to your organization. Use the status filters to see different groups of lawyers, such as All, Pending Confirmation, Confirmed, For Removal, or Unaffiliated. Step 5. Add a lawyer. To add a lawyer, click Add Members in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Enter the lawyer's roll number in the search field, then click OK. The lawyer will be added to your list with a pending confirmation status. At the same time, the lawyer will receive an email invitation and a notification in their ULAS Portal. When the invited lawyer logs into the PJP and opens the ULAS Portal, a notification will appear under the bell icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Clicking the bell will show the RO membership invitation. Selecting the invitation opens the request to join the organization. If the lawyer accepts, he or she will be redirected to a confirmation page. Once confirmed, the lawyer's dashboard will display a tile for the registered organization. Back on the AR side, after the lawyer has accepted the invitation, the lawyer's status in the RO member list will automatically change to confirm. Step 6. Removing a lawyer. To remove a lawyer from the RO, locate the lawyer's name in the RO member list and click the button under the action column. Click Yes to confirm the removal request. A notification will then be sent to the lawyer asking for confirmation. The lawyer will only be unaffiliated from the organization once the request is confirmed. If the lawyer denies the request, the case will be forwarded to the ULAS office, which will decide whether the lawyer will be removed or remain in the organization after hearing both sides or reviewing submitted documents. Step 7. When a lawyer opts out of the RO, a lawyer may also choose to leave the RO. From the ULAS Portal dashboard, the lawyer clicks View Details under the Registered Organization tile. On the RO Details page, the lawyer clicks Request to Opt Out in the upper right-hand corner. The AR will be notified and must approve the request before the lawyer is officially unaffiliated. If the AR denies the request, the matter will be elevated to the ULAS office, which will decide whether the lawyer will be removed or remain in the organization after hearing both sides or reviewing submitted documents. Through these tools, ULAS ensures that registered organizations and their lawyers remain properly verified, transparent, and accountable in the delivery of legal aid. This guide shows how covered lawyers or registered organizations can have their legal outreach programs and missions accredited through the ULAS portal. Step 1. Log in. Begin by logging in to the Philippine Judiciary Platform or PJP using your verified account. Step 2. Access ULAS. From your dashboard, click the ULAS portal tile. Step 3. Choose your role. When prompted, choose how to proceed. Select Continue to Registered Organization Account if you are acting as an authorized representative or AR of a registered organization or RO. Otherwise, select Continue to Individual Lawyer Account. Step 4. Manage Activities. Once inside the ULAS portal, locate the Legal Outreach Programs and Missions tile on the dashboard and click View Details. You will be redirected to the Activities dashboard, where all activities connected to your account are displayed, whether as an organizer or a co-applicant. Use the filters to view activities by status, including pending co-applicants, under review, for decision, returned, accredited, or denied. Step 5. Create Activity. To start a new application, click Create Activity. You will be taken to the accreditation form, which you must fill out. In the applicant's details section, the system automatically fills in the application's name. If you are logged in as an AR, the RO's name appears. If you are logged in as an individual lawyer, your personal name is used. The business address is also autofilled based on your account, whether you are acting for an RO or as an individual lawyer. Step 6. Add or remove a co-applicant. To add a co-applicant, enter a valid roll number or lawyer name and click Search. From the results, select the co-applicant you wish to add. If the lawyer belongs to an RO, choose whether to include the RO or add the lawyer only. Click OK to add the co-applicant. To remove a co-applicant, click the red button beside the name. In the Details of Activity section, select the nature of activity. If Others is selected, specify the activity in the field provided. Enter the location and dates of the activity. Upload the agenda and program. Only PDF and image files are accepted, with a total file size of up to 25 megabytes. Provide the beneficiary's information by selecting the type of qualified beneficiary and the appropriate categories. If you added a co-applicant, they need to agree to the representative's acknowledgement of authority. When finished, click Submit Application. When prompted, confirm by clicking Yes. Step 7. Co-applicant Invitation. If a co-applicant was invited, a notification will appear under the bell icon on their dashboard. They may also view the invitation under the Legal Outreach Programs and Missions tile. At the bottom of the page, the co-applicant may confirm or decline the invitation. Step 8. ULAS Office reviews application. After all co-applicants have responded, the organizer and accepting co-applicants will receive an email confirming that the ULAS office has received the application. The ULAS office will then review the request. If the application is returned for correction, the organizer will be notified via email. He or she can then edit the application from the activities dashboard by clicking the pencil icon before resubmitting. If approved, a Certificate of Activity Accreditation or CAA with a corresponding CAA number will be sent via email and will also be available in the ULAS portal. The organizer may share the CAA number with all the lawyers participating in the accredited activity, who can later use it when logging the legal aid services rendered for the accredited activity. If denied, a notification will also be sent. That concludes the process for accrediting legal outreach programs and missions through ULAS. For more information, please visit the ULAS microsite via the Supreme Court website.
Now, to formally conclude our program, may we invite Chief Justice Hesmundo to deliver the closing remarks.
Please be seated. My dear colleagues, participants to this afternoon's events, officials of the IBP, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Access to justice remains one of the most pressing challenges confronting our legal system. Too many of our people face legal concerns, yet only a small percentage are able to obtain proper assistance. Financial constraints, lack of information, and structural barriers continue to prevent vulnerable sectors from seeking or receiving legal representation. These realities demand more than adjudication. They require systemic reform. That is why, under our Strategic Plan for Judicial Innovations 2022 to 2027, or SPJI, we place access to justice at the very center of reform. The Unified Legal Aid Service is not an isolated project. It is part of a deliberate effort to modernize, harmonize, and strengthen the delivery of legal aid across the country. The ULAS rules establish a clear framework for mandatory legal aid service. They provide for a dedicated ULAS office to oversee administration and compliance, ensuring efficiency while relieving individual practitioners of the burden of coordination. They also recognize a broader range of pro bono activities, including accredited outreach programs and missions, reflecting the diverse ways lawyers may serve communities in need. The launch of the ULAS portal puts these reforms into action. Through this digital platform, registration, monitoring, and reporting are simplified and made transparent. Technology thus strengthens accountability while reducing administrative friction, aligning our commitment to equal justice with responsive and adaptive governance. Equally significant is the Memorandum of Agreement we signed today with the Commission of Human Rights, the National Anti-Poverty Commission, the Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor, and the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples. These institutions stand at the forefront of service to our most vulnerable sectors. By working together, strengthening referrals, sharing information, and coordinating outreach, we multiply our capacity to make real justice. To the members of the Bar, the implementation of ULAS reflects the responsibility inherent in our profession. The practice of law carries with it a continuing obligation to support the development of a just and equitable legal system. By institutionalizing pro bono service within a unified and manageable framework, we aim to make this responsibility both sustainable and impactful. We acknowledge with gratitude the invaluable support of our development partners, particularly the Australian government and the Asia Foundation, whose assistance has contributed to the realization of this initiative. I also would like to thank Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin Kagiwa and all the members of the Technical Working Group who worked diligently to make this activity a success. Truly, the work does not end with today's launch. Phase 1 of the ULAS Portal lays the foundation for a more integrated and responsive legal aid system. Its success will depend on our continued cooperation, thoughtful implementation, and collective resolve. If we succeed, it will not simply be because we launched a portal or signed an agreement. It will be because somewhere a family received guidance that they could not otherwise afford. An indigenous community found representation. A worker understood his rights, and someone who felt powerless discovered that law too stood on their side. Let us move forward together to bring us closer to a justice system that is not only efficient, innovative, but truly inclusive. Thank you very much and good afternoon again. Please sit down.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. May we request everybody, the justices and our distinguished guests, to kindly gather at the center of the room for the official group photo.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Smile. One more. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3.
Please remain standing for the Philippine Judiciary Hymn.
Lord, from thee,
behalf of the Supreme Court,
How to create an account through the Philippine Judiciary platform.
this concludes the ULAS Portal launch and
Click.
signing ceremony. Thank you very much and good afternoon. May we request Chief Justice Hesmundo, our Associate Justices, to please come to the front for a photo session.